In a Japanese train station, a white-gloved attendant points down the platform and calls out, "All clear." He does this hundreds of times a day. Every single time, same gesture, same words, same precision. Studies show this technique, pointing and calling, reduces workplace errors by up to 85%. It's not ritual, it's engineering. And it hints at something most visitors to Japan notice but can't quite explain. The service in Japan is different, not just polite, not just fast, somehow anticipatory. Your umbrella gets bagged before you ask. Your taxi door opens automatically. Your hotel room has slippers waiting in a position that lines up with the direction you'll walk out of them in the morning. The word for this is omotenashi, and the popular explanation is, it's Japanese culture. They're just like that. That explanation is lazy, and it's wrong. Omotenashi isn't a vibe, it's a system. And once you see the system, you understand why no other country has been able to copy it, even the ones that have tried. The word omotenashi literally means no surface. Omote, surface. Nashi, nothing. The idea is that hospitality should have no facade, no performance, no hidden motive. You serve because serving is the correct thing to do, not because you expect a tip, a review, or a return visit. The concept traces directly to the Japanese tea ceremony. In the 16th century, a tea master named Sen no Rikyu codified a set of principles for how a host should treat a guest. Every detail, the flowers, the scroll on the wall, the temperature of the water, the angle of the bowl, was chosen to honor the specific guest on that specific day. Preparation for a single ceremony could take months. That philosophy, total preparation, invisible effort, no expectation of reward, became the foundation of Japanese service culture. Not through inspiration, through structure. Here's what most people miss. Japanese companies don't rely on employees being naturally thoughtful. They train it, they script it, they manual it. The Japanese word is manuaru, borrowed from the English manual. And in Japan, every service interaction has one. How to greet a customer, what words to use, how deep to bow, what to say when a product is out of stock, what facial expression to hold during an apology. These aren't guidelines, they're scripts, drilled into every employee from the first day. On top of that, there's Keigo, the three-tiered system of honorific language built into Japanese itself. Keigo elevates the customer's actions. Kenjugo lowers the speaker's own. Tenego maintains polite distance. Every cashier, every hotel clerk, every taxi driver uses these forms automatically because they trained for weeks or months before ever facing a customer. This is not culture, this is infrastructure. Now compare this to how other countries handle service. In the United States, the system is built on tips. A server's income depends directly on the customer's satisfaction, or at least the customer's perception of satisfaction. The logic seems sound, pay for performance, but the result is inconsistent. Service quality varies wildly between restaurants, between cities, between moods, and the fundamental message is, I'm being nice because I need your money. Japan has no tipping. It's considered rude, and yet the service is consistently better. That's the paradox that breaks the incentive theory. If money doesn't explain it, what does? In Singapore, the government has invested heavily in service standards, training programs, national certifications, quality benchmarks. Singapore's service is excellent, clean, reliable, efficient. But multiple Japanese companies that expanded to Singapore have reported the same problem. The manuals don't translate. What's common sense in Japan, anticipating an unstated need, adjusting your tone based on body language, doesn't transfer through a written procedure. In Scandinavia, the approach is different again. Flat hierarchies, first-name basis with everyone. Service is egalitarian. Nobody grovels, nobody performs. The barista treats you like a peer, not a god. It works well within that culture, but it's the exact opposite of omotenashi's structured deference. So why does Japan's system work when others don't? Because Japan didn't just train service, it trained the expectation of service. When every interaction in every store in every city follows the same standard, the baseline shifts. Customers expect perfection because they've never experienced anything less. Workers deliver perfection because falling below the baseline is socially unacceptable. It's a self-reinforcing loop, and that loop has been running for decades. But here's where the story turns. That same loop has a dark side. When the baseline is perfection, some customers treat it as permission. In Japan, there's a growing crisis called Kasuhara, customer harassment, screaming at staff, throwing objects, demanding employees kneel and apologize on the floor, posting videos of service workers being humiliated. In a survey by the Japan Trade Union Confederation, 76% of service workers said they had been negatively affected by Kasuhara. 1 in 10 quit because of it. In 2018, a 26-year-old employee at a food chain killed himself after customers repeatedly told him to die. The phrase that enabled this is, "Okiyaku-sama wa kami-sama desu." The customer is God. It was originally said by a singer in the 1960s, and he meant it about his audience, not about shoppers. But the phrase escaped its context, and it became a weapon. The Japanese government has started to respond. In 2022, the Ministry of Health published guidelines for handling abusive customers. In 2023, Kasuhara was formally added to the list of recognized grounds for work-related psychological disorders. But the cultural shift is slow because the system was designed to make the customer feel like a god. And undoing that without breaking the service itself is hard, and there's a deeper structural threat. Japan's working-age population has declined 16% since its peak in 1995. The service industry can't fill its positions. Younger workers are leaving hospitality for better-paying sectors. The average work week for men in their 20s has dropped from over 46 hours to under 39. A generation that grew up watching their parents burn out